An executive governing board public session. We'll start with the adoption of form. Ms. Barnett. Present.
Present.
Thank you. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic.
All right, moving on to item number 2. Mr. Trahan.
Good evening, board members. Triplet. We've got 2 recognitions tonight. One is a repeat, which we'll get to shortly. First recognition is for Coach Tyrone Baker, who was named Conference Coach of the Year by the Suburban Conference Blue Division. He's the wrestling coach at Normandy High School. He has been the wrestling coach since 2010 and was instrumental in starting the girls wrestling program, coaching the first female to qualify in Missouri for state. Coach Baker has also been the football coach for the past 4 years. So he's bringing championships out into the state for everyone to see the Normandy Pride. And I think Coach Baker is here. Nope. So we'll move on to the next recognition. Again, this is a repeat recognition. Congratulations to Normandy High School junior Alexandria Belton for advancing to the FCCLA Culinary Arts Star event. If you remember, Alexandria won the state competition in January, and she won the regional competition in January and advanced to the state competition, where she placed and won a gold medal. She now heads to Denver in July to compete at the national level. So we want to congratulate her.
Hi.
Hello.
Can my parents stand up? I don't want to say much, but I do want to say that it takes a village, and I want to say thank you to my village because this is big. But thank you all.
Thank you. And that's recognitions for this evening, if there are any questions.
Any questions? Congrats. And especially to you, Ms. Bolton. They say less is more, but your actions speak far louder than your words. So thank you for representing Normandy and demonstrating Viking pride. All right, moving on to item number 3, the agenda. Everybody has the agenda. Review it. Are there any changes, amendments, suggestions to the agenda?
Dawn.
Hearing none. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as amended. It's been moved and properly seconded that we adopt the agenda as amended. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Opposed, same privilege. Have it. All right, moving on to item number 4, board operations. 4.01, there's just a couple of housekeeping items that we'll just mention now, but going forward, there may be a need for us to hold executive sessions earlier in the meeting. We'll continue to begin at 6 o'clock, but there may be times where we have our executive session immediately and then proceed with the public session. The other item is that in discussions with the superintendent and others, there will be town hall public sessions that will be coordinated throughout the year to allow, as we ramp up more public participation, the idea or the intent is to allow town halls and public forums as an opportunity to share information about what's happening in the district and participation by the public. So I don't want to sound overly dramatic about housekeeping, but these are some things that to look forward to as far as how we manage the board meetings and public engagement. Moving on to any questions? Okay. Moving on to item 4.02, certification of election results. Well, we are here that as of April 4th, last Tuesday, we now have a total of 4 elected officials, 3 of which were elected last Tuesday. And the results are as follows. And Ms. Teresa Pearson, who had 22.39% of the votes, that's 1,310 votes. Ms. Viola Taylor, a little over 20% of the vote, 1,228. Mr. William Humphrey with 1,176. Those are our recently elected officials. Welcome to the board. And I guess I should say welcome back to Mr. Humphrey. All right. So with that, we should proceed with item 4.03, administration of the oath of office. So I would like to call Ms. Pamela Westbrook Hodge up so that she can help us to facilitate the oath of office. What did I say?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Good
And
evening, everyone. So I'm at home, and as a 1987 graduate of this district and a former member of this joint executive governing board and this community's representative on the Missouri State Board of Education, I am honored and humbled to administer the oath of office to our newly elected board members, Teresa Pearson, Violet Taylor, and returning longtime board member, Mr. William Humphrey. So we'll proceed in alphabetical order, and I would like Mr. William Humphrey to please come forward. It is good to see you.
Good to
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I,
I,
William Humphrey,
William Humphrey,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and that I will faithfully
and I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties of a member of the Normandy Joint Executive Governing Board.
discharge the duties of a member of the Joint Executive Governance
That's
Board
good. Of the Normandy Schools Collaborative.
of the Normandy Schools Collaborative
To the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability
According to law.
according to law.
Thank you, Mr. Humphrey. You are duly reinstalled.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All righty. Ms. Teresa Pearson. Woo. That's a legendary last name you've got. Ms. Pearson, I need you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Teresa Pearson, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Missouri, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of a member of the Normandy Joint Executive Governing Board for the Normandy Schools Collaborative to the best of my ability, according to law. Congratulations, Ms. Pearson. You are duly installed. Please join your board colleagues. And Ms. Violet Taylor. Woo! Ms. Taylor, 2 times a charm, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Okay, Ms. Violet, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I,
I,
Violet Taylor,
Violet Taylor,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Missouri,
of the State of Missouri,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of a member
of member
of the Normandy
of the Normandy
Joint Executive
Joint Executive
Governing Board
Governing Board
for the Normandy Schools Collaborative
for the Normandy Schools Collaborative
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
according to law.
according to law.
Thank you and congratulations, Ms. Taylor. You are duly installed. Congratulations, everyone. It is an honor.
Thank you, Ms. Westbrook College. Now, each elected board member must say that backwards. Board members, Mr. Humphrey, Ms. Taylor, and Ms. Pearson. All right, now we'll yield item 4.04. I'll yield the floor to I'm sorry, 05. No, 04. Yeah. Election of the board officers. I will yield the floor to Superintendent Dr. Triplett.
Good evening, board members and community members. President, the floor is open for nominations for president of the board. Are there any nominations for president?
This one isn't working either. Is it working? Okay. Mr. Superintendent, I would like to nominate a slate of officers, although we will vote on each separately. I would like to nominate for president, Mr. Ronald Roberts, for vice president, Mr. Harlan Hodge, and for secretary, Ms. Violet Taylor.
Are there any, I see that we're going for a slate, so there are no more nominations, so I'll ask one last time. Is that the end of the nominations? Thank you.
So, yeah, gotta leave the vote. Then I'll take over. It's been nominated, so you gotta get it now. She made a motion, you gotta get a second.
Dr. Triplett, we will vote on
Did she make
each.
a motion?
We will vote on each office separately. Okay. So right now, we're only voting for president. Are there any other nominations for president? Okay. And if there are none, then we move to the vote.
So, board president, with the slate being said, I move that we move accordingly with the recommendations of the board. So we'd like to call for a vote. Is there a motion on the floor?
So, yeah, so we moved it, there's a second, now you call for the vote.
Okay. Alice Barnett?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll proceed with the office of Vice President. The floor is open for nominations for the Vice President of the Board. So should we go with, you off on the slate, are you gonna? Okay, so we'll call for the vote. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, the floor is open again for nominations for the Secretary of the Board. It's always, are there any other nominations? Ms. Barnett? Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So congratulations and we'll get the floor. So moving on to balance of the agenda, item 4.05, the municipal partnership update. The Honorable Mayor Jackson.
Good evening to the board. Congratulations to all those who have been given the privilege to serve on this board by election. We're thankful that we have got almost an entire elected board, and look forward to having board governance of our school district as well, and accreditation. The sky's the limit for Normandy. But we want to first say that as the municipal partnership, it's our honor to present to Normandy Schools Collaborative Joint Executive Board on behalf of the 24-1 Municipal Partnership, our continued welcome to Dr. Triplett and appreciation on his great start. His visibility throughout the district has been refreshing, and we continue to stand ready to support his leadership. A welcome to the newly elected members, as I said, that have been seated. We want to make sure that we name them: Ms. Pearson, Ms. Taylor, and congratulations to Mr. William Humphreys on your well thought out campaign. Key highlights from 24-1 Municipal Partnership: growing influence can be evidenced in both bi-state development and Metropolitan Sewer District reaching out to us for our assistance in major initiatives that they are trying to move forward. And bi-state shared for the second time information about their proposal expansion of the MetroLink line heading into North County. We will share with them our residents and ensure their voice is heard as this process moves forward. The online survey can be found at growingmetrolink.com. For all you citizens that are listening, go on growingmetrolink.com, see where they are proposing to run a line, and make your comments accordingly. Your comments are taken and put into a vacuum and pretty much looked at, and it helps to shape what they end up doing with the new MetroLink line that they're trying to put in. MSD, for the second time as well, presented to the municipal partnership on their proposed rate increase and requested support for 24-1 Municipal Partnership. In addition, we were informed of a customer assistance program that will provide a 50% discount on wastewater bills for low-income residents in the region. And that program can be found on www.msd.project/CAP, and you can look that up and take a look at that. But one thing that they're proposing to us and making sure that we're clear that we'll have an opportunity to vote on this rate increase. If we vote for it, there'll be a small increment increase. In other words, that your rates are going up anyway. It doesn't matter whether we vote yes or no, they're going up anyway. More if you vote no, less if you vote yes. And there's some reason for that. And so they'll come back and explain that over time so that when it's time to vote, you'll understand what yes means and what no means on that ballot information. We continue to move forward to create a transportation development district which will generate new revenue for streets, sidewalks, curbs, and other transportation projects in our community. To date, 11 municipalities, and one just approved their resolution last night, so that number has jumped up, have passed preliminary resolutions to create a new taxing body together for this purpose. And we plan to have this put on the 2024 ballot. I was just in conversation by email to the U.S. Department of Transportation, and right now they're having conversations with those who have transportation districts and those who have trains, metro links, and rails. They're having conversations with them on monies that they may need and monies that are available. If we had our taxing district, we would be able to tap into the money that they're trying to make available. But once that's taken place, not only will we gain money from a 1% sales tax, but we will also be able to get other monies that come down from state, from federal, and maybe even county money as well to help us to do better with our streets within our cities. We know about county roads, state highways, but when you talk about the streets within our cities, sometimes we're 30 years before we can get streets done. And so we'll be able to get that done. The Community Impact Network presented to us on the activity they have going on in the 24/1 footprint to support children and their families. Their financial support goes to a variety of organizations, including Beyond Housing. Further, they have recently repurposed the old McKinley School on Lucas and Hunt into the Legacy Center that will support the Normandy schools and the 24/1 community. Also, the organization will continue its work in demolishing vacant, abandoned, and deteriorating buildings in the community. And this is a great effort on their part to put money into our community so that we have a better community and a better looking community. And the programs, I've already had a meeting. We've had a meeting with the young man that's going to be the director of that McKinley building. He has some amazing programs, and some of the programs that'll be going in there, we'll be a part of it. And we will make sure that it is available to all of our young people and all of our constituents in our communities. Beyond Housing update, the 24/1 partnership on their community health program, a new small business support program, and rolled out a new www.our241.com. Go to the website. It is an amazing website full of resources, and you'll see with 24/1 municipal partnerships, along with our collaborative nonprofit Beyond Housing, you'll see some of the great things that we're doing together. Recently, I was in a meeting by Zoom with an organization in Washington, D.C. that works directly with the Biden administration, and I directed her to our website. She went there real time while we were in the meeting, and she was so amazed about what was going on in 24/1. She said, we need to have further conversations about what's going on in 24 and 24/1 in the 24/1 community. And so people are excited about what's going on in our community, and we're glad about it. And we want all of you to be excited about what we're doing, because what we're doing, we are doing together. Because, as Mayor McGee, our chieftain, says, united we stand, divided we fall. And so there's some upcoming events. If you give me just a quick moment to share with you upcoming events. The 24-1 Community Coalition Annual Meeting will be April 15th, 2023, 9 to 11 at Beyond Housing's headquarters. 24-1 Chiefs Association Citizen Police Academy. It's a weekly event, April 19th through July 12th, 2023. You also get a certificate once you participate in that community academy, where you're able to see what police go through, what they have to deal with, the decisions that they have to make. And it gives you a greater respect for law enforcement and their jobs that they do every day. 24-1 Arbor Day celebration, Wednesday, April 26, 2023, 9 a.m. at St. Vincent Park. Come and see everybody participate in some of the things that they will learn about climbing trees, cutting trees, trimming trees, planting trees, and have a great time doing it with fun for young people and for adults as well. 24-1 Native Plant Fair, Sunday, April 30th, 2023, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Beyond Housing headquarters. And so I think if you come on that day, you can actually get free trees. Trees you can plant. And so if you come, they're there while supplies last. But we thank this board and we thank Normandy Schools Collaboratives for allowing the 24-1 municipal partnerships to come before you and to share what we're doing, because what we're doing together. We're working collaboratively with our school district. We're working collaboratively in our communities, and we're doing it together. 24-1 is 23 communities in one school district, and we want to always show that we care. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Any questions for Mayor Jackson? No? Okay. All right. Just one thing, going back to public recognition. I think because of the traffic, he didn't make it in time, but I think I saw Mr. Baker, Coach Tyrone Baker. Would you please stand? We recognized you earlier. We want to make sure you get your flowers. Target. Thank you, sir. All right, moving on to item number 5, items for consent. You had a chance to review the items on board docs. There were some questions that were relayed and answered. Are there any other questions related to items for consent? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve the items as presented. It's been moved and properly seconded that we approve the items for consent as presented with the one amendment. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Same privilege. The ayes have it. All right, moving on to item number 7, items for action. 7.01. Dr. Pusateri.
Good evening, board members. Good evening, Dr. Triplett. The Secure Campus Connector is scheduled for July completion. It's getting close. The SCA, as we call it, will hold the upper commons as a main entry space for the campus. It'll have a security hub, an administrative hub, as well as support services, and on the top floor, an IT center and STEM classrooms. You can see, as you're at the high school, you can see the large glass windows of one of those STEM classrooms on the upper floor from the outside. This item for which we're asking you to vote provides furniture for these rooms. The expense is $151,617, and it will be covered by federal ESSER II funds that must be spent or encumbered within the next 5.5 months. Note that in our efforts to ensure we receive the biggest bang for the buck for this purchase, we identified multiple ways to reduce costs on this order, including changing the type of conference chair from to a mesh back to save money, as well as getting input from building leadership to make sure that's the right type of back. We removed casters from stools in the classrooms. We are reusing a majority of existing furniture in current admin offices. And we're using a vendor that's less expensive and will match the quality and look of the existing office furniture recently purchased for Central Hall. This purchase will match the overall furniture upgrade already purchased for West, East, and parts of Central. Again, we're excited about the summer opening of the Secure Connector. And before you vote, are there any questions?
Questions?
I have one.
Ms. Williams.
It was my understanding that this connector would also have a student commons, something another like that. I saw no furniture that was appropriate for that. Are we still going to have that?
Absolutely. The Upper Commons is the main entryway when you first walk in. We're in partnership with KAI, who has a donation to put together an alumni wall, which we're working with the Alumni Association on putting together. And it'll be kind of the centerpiece for the whole campus. It'll be secure and safe, and a welcome center through which all guests will be coming in the future.
So that's going to be a purchase later, the furnishings for that center. Is that right?
That one we've already bought.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Any other questions? With that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the item as
Second.
it's been moved and properly. We approve the item as presented. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same privilege. The ayes have it. Moving on to item 7.02.
This is the budget amendment. Each spring, school districts complete a budget for the following school year. The initial budget is designed based on the available information at the time and the forecasted revenue and expenses planned in alignment with our strategic plan for the next school year. As we know, Normandy's seen a number of changes in the last 9 months, but our overall budget outlook, as measured in our projected end-of-year fund balances, has improved since the budget was first approved in June. Tonight, I'll give a brief overview of our overall financial health, financial projections over the next 5 years that we need to consider, and a summary of some major updates to this budget compared to the initial approved budget from last June. First, you look at the piece of paper in front of you, board members, and also in board docs. That's our budget summary document. Looks like this. One page lists expenditures by function or category. Another lists revenue by function or category. And the first page is an overall summary, which includes fund balances. This document includes historical data of finances from the 5 prior years that you can look at for comparison. On the right side of the page, in yellow, is the 2022-23 approved budget, last approved in June. The 2022-2023 proposed budget, which you're voting on now, is in pink. To the far right, in yellow, are the year-to-date numbers for each category. One primary indicator of overall financial health is the projected end-of-year fund balance. Take a look at the first page on the bottom. The end-of-year fund balance is how much money the district has available at the end of the fiscal year on June 30th as a percent of overall operating expenses. The amount that Normandy Schools Collaborative needs to ensure liquidity in November and December, when our cash flow is at our lowest level, is about 14.5%. This number varies from district to district based on how much state revenue versus local revenue the district receives, but for Normandy, it's just under about 15%. You can see that our end-of-year fund balances, I'm moving over to the PowerPoint at this time. You can see that our overall fund balances have increased from just under 12% in 2018 to 27% at the end of last year, and we're on track to stay at approximately this level for June of this year. This increase is most related to federal pandemic relief revenue, also called ESSER 1, ESSER 2, and ESSER 3, as well as ongoing careful approval of expenditures. The ESSER funds are allocated in higher per-student proportions to districts serving students in under-resourced communities. Normandy has allocated funds for many eligible ESSER expenses: quality curriculum, job-embedded professional development, tutoring, instructional leadership, mental health supports, approved facilities improvements, and other matters. However, with the allocation of these funds, there's a timetable that these expenditures have to occur by. As I said earlier, these ESSER funds that we're using to purchase furniture, these ESSER 2 funds must be encumbered or spent by this coming September. ESSER 3 funds must be encumbered or spent by September of '24. This next graph shows how revenue will decrease for Normandy in the coming years. building up our fund balances as we have is a strategic way to offset the reduction in revenue ahead of us. Note on this graph that the yellow is the Prop V revenue, and the gray represents federal revenue. You can see that the gray federal revenue continues to drop as the ESSER funds go away. This next slide shows actual and projections of expenses in blue and fund balances in orange. Note that the decline in revenue we just saw on the last slide correlates with the fund balance decline shown on this slide. So this is a look ahead over the next 4 years, and we can see fund balances starting to level out to get closer back to that 15 level by 26, 27 or so. So, as always, we need to be careful with our expenditures while still recognizing the need to not leave any federal grant funds on the table, as they say. Now, I'll summarize certain revenue and expense changes that have occurred since the budget was first approved back 10 months ago. On the revenue side, our initial conservative projections for revenue have turned out to be better, higher than originally anticipated, particularly in local taxes, Prop C sales tax, earnings on investment, and the basic formula. On the expense side, we've seen some departments project to expend more than initially projected, and other departments are projecting to spend less than initially projected. District Middle Schools, curriculum, executive leadership, and communications are all on track to spend less than we had originally anticipated. Departments like IT, human resources, food service, homeless transportation, and building principal expenses are generally greater than originally anticipated back last spring. These changes in expenses, particularly for IT, HR, and the Office of the Principal, are aligned with our district's strategic priorities for those departments. At this time, I'm happy to take any follow-up questions on the budget amendment prior to the vote.
Any questions?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
On the last slide, Dr. Pusateri, I'd like to see more specific information. I mean, how was the money saved? And what was the extra money, well, not extra, but why were some departments over what was anticipated? Why were some under? I'd like to know more specifically what those things are, but not for now, but at some point. Thank you.
Understood, will do.
And a follow-on to that is each year we have a public forum as we go through the budget process that allows us to take a deeper dive in that and more community engagement. It's my understanding that that's something that is forthcoming or.
So moving forward, I've had conversations with Dr. Pusateri, and it is our hope that we'll have 2 town halls before the year ends, one with regards to the connector and 2 with regards to the budget and the financial health of the district. I feel it's very important that the community knows through transparency how their dollars are being used. And so we have to keep them in the know. So absolutely, we'll have 2 forums in the very near future. So please check your email and your text and whatever communication forms you use to get your updates of the district, because those forums are going to happen very soon.
Thank you, Dr. Triplett. Dr. Pusateri, in the past, when have those usually held?
Typically, they've been in May, a couple weeks before we asked the board to review and approve the budget.
Okay.
So mid to late May was last year, if I recall correctly.
Okay, so the amendment proposing right now
This is just to kind of keep us on track. In prior years, we would have these budget amendments every other month, just so that we would track according to projections. We just haven't done it this year, and it's just to get closer when the final budget is approved. It's a tracking space to make sure that the board is updated on our progress.
Okay, so just to kind of get our mind together about it, in May, what are we doing?
In May, you'll have a briefer summary of this year, and the focus on May is really looking at next year, because that's the big thing that the board is approving is next year's initial budget. And it'll be aligned with the district's strategic priorities. Why are we spending what on this? What are we reducing? What are we increasing, and why? so that the board can ask questions about why we're taking this strategic direction.
And even more, Board President, these forums are set such that the community can ask questions, because I want them to have clarity on how well we're being stewards of their monies. And so I want to make sure that they have the questions answered, because I'm sure they have questions.
Okay. Are there any other questions regarding the budget amendment as presented by Dr. Pusateri?
Yes, Mr. President. Question and a comment. I'll give my comment first. Thank you for updating us on this. This is a point of pride for us, fiscal management and responsibility. So thank you for a very clear articulation of our fund balance. One of the things that's concerning me, and I don't know if we will be able to answer this tonight, but as we approach 25, 26, there will be a significant shortfall in our funding. Should we anticipate drastic financial reductions, cutbacks? What should we be looking at over the next 3 years, and what kind of proposals will the superintendent or our CFO be presenting to us? And when should we expect to hear some of those recommendations to prepare for that shortfall?
Yes, the main purpose of the communication is to make sure that the leadership, and especially the board, has the knowledge that this is coming. Long term, as Dr. Triplett settles in, we'll be looking at staffing. But the good news is long term, and you might have said a word like drastic or sudden, and by long term we mean strategic, intentional, over multiple years to get to where we need to be by 25, 26. That's kind of a short summary, and we'll be getting into more of this at the May budget preview.
Thank you.
Comments, questions? All right. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the amendment as presented by Dr. Pusateri.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we adopt the amendment, approve the amendment presented. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye. Opposed, same privilege. The ayes have it. Moving on to, thank you, Dr. Pusateri. Moving on to item number 8, board comments. We will begin with Ms. Taylor.
No comments.
No comments. Well, thank you for being here.
Would there be any kind of comments? Let me.
Just inspirational, motivational, whatever you want.
Oh, okay. First of all, I would just like to say thank you to each and every one of you that voted for me, those family members. I am so privileged to have this opportunity to be able to serve on the Normandy Collaborative School Board. It is something that has been in my heart for many years. I did not act on it until last year. And even on last year, when I had the opportunity to come in 3rd place, it just inspired me to try a little bit harder this year. And so I'm just excited to be a part of this. I know that there are so many things that are down on the inside of me that I want to see happen in the Normandy School District. And I like what the young lady said. She said, it takes a village. It takes a village. So it's going to take not only the village, it's going to take the parents, the grandparents, the educators, the board, and it's going to take each of you, the community, in order for us to make Normandy School District be the very best that it can be, and I know that it can be. And just once again, thank you all for this opportunity to be able to serve. And I commit. I said this in my one of my opening presentations. When I was an employee at AT&T, I was given the opportunity where I had to deal with the difficult customers. That was my job. When they wanted to speak before they got to the manager, I wasn't a manager, they spoke with me. It was my job to make sure that whatever problem that they had, it was resolved. And so that's what my job was. And so my commitment to you, to the Normandy community, any task, any job, anything that I'm given, I'm going to give it my very best with everything within me to make sure that you get a resolution, whether it be for the good or for the bad. But I will come up with a resolution, and that's my commitment to you all on today. And thank you again for this opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Ms. Pearson?
Hello, everyone. I want to thank everyone for coming out. Thank you for voting. As a Normandy alum, I'm ready to put my bootstraps on. As a current parent, I'm ready. Thank you all again, and let's do work.
That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Pearson. Mr. Humphrey?
Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone that's here tonight. I want to thank everyone that cast a vote in support of my candidacy for the school board. And my commitment is to continue to be present within the district, to listen, to hear, and to react, because at the end of the day, it's all about the children. And so we have to make sure that we're keeping our focus on what's in the best interest of children. And so once again, I just thank everyone for attending tonight. Thank you, everyone that voted. And I even thank those that did not vote for me, because I still represent you, and it is my desire to hear from you, especially those parents that are in the district, that have children in the district that have opted for other options for education. We want to win you back to the Normandy School District.
Thank you, Mr. Humphrey. Ms. Williams?
Of course, I want to welcome Ms. Taylor and Ms. Pearson, and welcome back, William. I also want to do something that I should have done last month. I talked about the excellence of these young athletes who are sitting in front of us, and I thank their parents for letting us have those athletes. What I didn't do was thank the coaches who helped those children reveal their excellence. Would you stand up again, Mr. Baker? And Dr. Baker. That's the work. That's the work. The children are brilliant, they're excellent, they're talented, but it takes some adults, an investment of time and energy, hope, perspiration, and so forth, to bring those children to the level that they can achieve. And Chef O'Bannon wasn't here, was she? Was she here earlier? But all of the people who contribute to these children and getting them to the point that they can reveal their excellence, we thank you for that. I'm looking back there at the little lady in the orange suit there. That was my first experience in Normandy with what a coach could do. That young lady back there took those girls to the state. It was a fabulous experience. And so I'm just proud. I'm really proud of the people we have here. These children are lucky to have you all. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Mr. Hart?
Thank you so much. I'll try to be brief, but I've got lots of gratitude statements. First of all, I'm grateful for this entire board for their commitment to service. Welcome to all of our new board members, and thank you for your continued commitment, in particular, Mr. Humphrey. I would also like to thank all of those who ran for these roles. We do not take this job lightly, and we don't take your commitment lightly to this district. And with that, I'd like to also recognize Driver Henderson, who has been a champion for our district and a thorn in our side for good. And so thank you for continuing. Thank you for continuing to hold us accountable to do the right thing for your district. And so we appreciate that. I also want to thank Beyond Housing for their continued commitment to our district. Chris is here and supporting us on a regular basis. I've never been to a board meeting where he is not here. So thank you for your commitment. Thank you to the mayors and the 24-1 for continuing to partner with us as we strive for excellence. Thank you so for that great news, Mayor Jackson. We are bringing quite a gift to this district, to the old McKinley School through Collective STL, who the executive director is Dr. Terry Harris, leading educator for our region, who has chosen this place as the home for his resources, and we expect to see great things from that center for us. I want to thank Pamela Westbrooks Hodge, our state rep on the and champion at the school board for the state of Missouri. Now she's traveled all the way from Jefferson City to rep. Oh no, you live around the corner. Okay, all right. Well, she is our state rep on the Board of Education for the state of Missouri. Oh, she's also my wife.
Yeah, she's your wife.
For being here with us tonight to swear in our new board members. Finally, I want to say thank you to our faculty, staff, parents, and the rest of the folks who support our students. But most of all, to our beautiful and brilliant students that represent us so well every day. They tolerate us in the development of them. They are, at the end of the day, our measure of success. And I am really, really honored to be in this process with you all. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Mr. Hart.
Thank you, President Roberts. Congratulations to Ms. Taylor, Ms. Pearson, and my dear friend, Mr. Humphrey. He may question that on any given day. So I want to say, to give a little levity, because everybody looks so serious as we look at you. I just want to say thank you to everybody. The students who I have the privilege of passing 2 bus stops every morning, and to see them there ready to start their day. To the teachers, it was a Facebook post on my feed that asked, do you remember who your 4th grade teacher was? Mm-hmm. It was Mrs. Moore at Ashland Elementary School and St. Louis Public Schools. And I actually could name every teacher I had at elementary school.
Wow.
So that's impact. That's impact, whether it was for whatever reason I remembered them, but still impact, and you want that. So love them, care about them, support them, and all that they do. Because we like to, as social constructs, put labels on people. Oh, he's bad. She can't sit still. But always remember, you don't know the journey that they made to get to spend 8 hours with you each day. Thank you to all the support staff. I can even remember lunchroom teacher's name. So at the end of the day, it's a village, and that village will raise those children. Thank you for the honor and privilege to sit on this collaborative, as I'm probably one of the last state-appointed individuals on the board. If I had, I don't know what you passed, vice president to vice president, but congratulations, Mr. Hodge. Let me borrow the gavel. Okay, so let me pass that to you in your new role. Let me give it back to where it belongs. But at the end of the day, as I shepherd a leadership development program in this region, I ask everybody to do 3 things. The participants and the instructors. I want you to be open to the possibilities. As I had breakfast this morning, which was a delightful start of my day with the new superintendent, we can't do things the way we've always done them. I will be out of Normandy High School. Do I say this out loud? In 2025, I will be celebrating my 50th anniversary from graduating from the high school. And you cannot teach the children as you taught me. See how I turned out? So, at the end of the day, we need to be open to the possibilities. We need to bring our best self every day, no matter what's going on. And we need to have a little bit of fun. So one, it is an honor and privilege to serve. Thank you for the opportunity for being the vice chair over the last year. And I'm excited about what will be. We only can move forward at this point in time. And it's going to take all of us to help to change the narrative, to be there for the children, and to move forward. President Roberts.
Thank you, Ms. Patton. It's always difficult to follow the Reverend Dr. Harlan Hodge and Dr. Valerie Patton. So from where I sit, less is more. What I will say is thank you. Thank you to my fellow board members who have been demonstrating their commitment. And the commitment to serve as a board member is no less than a beautiful struggle. Thank you to our newly elected board members. Welcome back, Mr. Humphrey, Ms. Pearson, Ms. Taylor. I'm looking forward to serving with you. I want to also thank Mr. Neal, Tony Neal, who is one of the vacating members who gave a tremendous amount of time and commitment to this district. So I just want to acknowledge him for his service, and I'm sure we can count on him to be a champion and supporter of this district. Thank you for the opportunity to serve again. As I indicated before, change is painful, but change is necessary. And how we're measured is our capacity to translate adversity into opportunity. And I'm seeing examples of that every day by our teachers, by our principals, by our administrators, by our board members, by our parents who are allowing us the opportunity to educate your children. And I'm seeing that in a very short term with Dr. Triplett. He's jumped in and rolled up his sleeves, and we've had some fights. And he's bigger than me, but I'll fight dirty for kids. And I'll win with his help. No. But seriously, Dr. Triplett has jumped in with his fellow leadership, and they are doing a tremendous job. Please continue to support them as we are and as we will. It's going to be painful, but we're working towards the same goal, and that's to make Normandy a better place, excellence, Viking pride, and to educate the next generation of Vikings. And then lastly, Normandy would not be a special place without the tremendous partnerships that we have. Partnerships with the parents, partnerships with our community leaders, the municipal partnership. Thank you for allowing us to lock arms together. And when we're wrong, we're wrong. You let us know. And when we're right, you're standing right there with us. And we appreciate that. And it's reciprocal. Beyond Housing, one of our strategic partners. We have a comprehensive menu of services that are provided by their leadership and by their employees that is really helpful to our district in supplementing the excellence that we already have here. So we really appreciate that, and we appreciate all the community partners that we have, and we look forward to strengthening those partnerships. Thank you. Moving on to item number 9, related to Dr. Triplett, Superintendent.
Good evening again. So I share the same sentiments with all of the board members with respect to congrats to the newly elected. Thank you for the service of the outgoing board member and re-elected board member. Thank you, guys. I congratulate you. On March 14th of this year, Harris-Stowe State University's president, Dr. Tanya Collins-Smith, visited Normandy High School, and she presented 3 scholarships to our babies. Now, in the community forum, I refer to our kids as our babies because they're all our babies. And that word means a lot to me. It means more to me than children. It means more to me than kids and whatever else you call young people. So I'll always refer to them as our babies. Stefan Cody received the Opportunity Scholarship. He'll receive $1,000 for 4 years. Tiana Dixon received the Board of Regents Scholarship, and she'll receive her tuition paid in full each year. And Danica Brown will receive the Presidential Scholarship. She will go to Harris Stowe for free. So I think it's important that we give flowers all over the place, not through just athletics, but our babies are doing phenomenal things in the classroom, and we have to make sure we give them flowers as well. On April 4th, DESE notified me that Normandy will be an awardee for an immediate response service grant in the amount of $46,651 for the purpose of to increase student access to mental health. So I thank you for that grant. And I will be working closely with Dr. Harris to make sure our babies get every dime of that to make sure that mental health is cared for. I challenge the senior leadership team every week with going into our buildings, visiting 2 schools per week. And the rationale behind that is that our babies need to know who supports them. Our teachers need to know who supports them. More importantly, they need to see our senior leadership team as human, not as people who push pens and paper and pay bills. So it's important to me as a relationship builder that we get out in schools every single week to make sure we identify issues and concerns and make sure we're giving our babies the attention they need and make sure they know who's caring for them behind the scenes. So that's what I challenged our senior leadership team to do each week. Being that I'm an advocate for literacy, on yesterday, Jefferson Elementary School was visited by Jackie Joyner Kersey, where she read with our students. She had a Q&A with our students, and you all would be absolutely proud of the level of engagement our babies had with Jackie. They had some really different kind of questions, but she welcomed it. She welcomed all the questions, and she had a blast. She had more fun than our babies had. So I want to thank Principals Vaux Williams and I'll kill his last name, Lisan, how we pronounce that name, I'll kill it. But I thank them for allowing us and allowing Jackie into the building to have some time and spend some time, quality time with our babies around literacy. There is a growing narrative around the district, and that narrative is around the leadership and what we're doing differently. And the biggest thing we're doing differently is that we're making sure we rebuild those fractured relationships that are with the community and community partners. And we're keeping the board informed on things. And we're making sure we have, I feel like Mayors Jackson and McGee work for the district as much as I meet with them and Mr. Krameyer. But I make it my business to make sure we meet with community partners. I met with Pamela Hodge, and she's one of the most brilliant minds I've met in a long time. Amazing conversations. I'm sure I forgot, Mr. Harlan, you forgot your supervisor as well. I had a wonderful meal with board member Patton. Those are the kinds of relationships we have to have in order to make this wheel turn. And if you don't think relationships matter, then you're in the wrong place. Relationships matter, especially when it comes to to informing our kids and making sure our babies are ready for life beyond school. Because that's what it's about. We can talk accreditation all day long, but if our babies aren't ready to live after school, then we fail them while getting accreditation. So we have to make sure when we breathe and speak accreditation, we breathe and speak life into our babies to live past 12th grade. Lastly, summer school, and I want to throw this commercial in. Summer school enrollment is now open through May 12th. So make sure, families, you enroll your babies. With the link we sent last Thursday, I believe we sent the link last Thursday out to the community. So make sure you enroll our babies. Additionally, the state assessment begins May 1st. So make sure our babies are sleep well, receive nutrients. If we can help on that end, we will. Make sure they're ready to come to work, to come to school and take these assessments. We'll make sure that our environments are conducive to test-taking centers. So we want to make sure our kids perform their best, because that's what we expect from them, their best. At least I know I would be pushing people to expect the very best out of our kids, because they can rise to the occasion. And we have to expect that they rise to the occasion. Thank you all.
To do some purpose, I'll entertain. Ms. Barnett? Yes.
Yes.